Welcome back to the final episode of the S Gilmore Story and the documentaries about his life, for the moment at least, because I have to start writing my paper and that's going to take up more of my time. However, I will be back later with more, and if you have any questions, just send me an email at gilmoresband@gmail.com. Here's P.S. Gilmore himself, and what we're going to do is look at three major events that basically defines, I believe, his life and his career. They're not the only ones, obviously, and you can look back at your own leisure at what he did. But these events are so magnificent. It's so easy to realize why they hadn't been done before, and why in some cases they will never ever be repeated. And yes, everyone has to be given their dues and their proper praise. You can never not give John Philip Sousa praise for his compositions and his performances and so on and so forth. But in regards overall performance, innovation, and the development of music in the 19th century, there is no one whatsoever that touches the coattails of P.S. Gilmore. Here are some advertisements from his life. Obviously, Gilmore's Great Jubilee at Manhattan Beach. Again, an innovation that was needed at the time for those people with disposable income. And, of course, in St. Louis, the Great Exposition, where eventually he would die in 1892. All of these are in our memory now because of basically the publicity, I suppose, I've given him in regards the documentary. But what events really mark out his territory? I'm going to start with one which we cannot ignore now that it has been fully revealed. Let Us Have Peace, the official programme, Great National Peace Jubilee, projected by P.S. Gilmore, to be held in the city of Boston on these 5 days in 1869 to commemorate the restoration of peace throughout the land. Not only that, but this was calling to an end musically the upset of the Civil War and trying to bring people together in friendship, but in musical terms, in harmony. The National Peace Jubilee singers to wishing to organise a chorus to take part, etc., etc. And this is an attempt to bring singers and choirs together. When Gilmore started this all off, I think there was about 5 or 6 choirs in the whole of Boston, never mind the whole of America. And they distributed books all over America free of charge, and they eventually ended up with 10,000 of a choir. 10,000 of a choir. Imagine that even in today's numbers. The National Peace Jubilee grand testimonial benefit to P.S. Gilmore in the Coliseum, Boston. This was how much it meant to the people of Boston, but not only that, but to the people of America. People were in amazement that this took place, that there was no problem, that there was nothing other than positivity out of this event, and it developed a new love in America for not just bands, but choirs and the wonderful voices of all races in America. That started with the Peace Jubilees. Here is the testimonial program on June the 29th, 1869 for P.S. Gilmore, and those ribbons on the right-hand side originally sat on this program, so they bleached through the program itself. It's a wonderful thing to have. This is a token that you could buy at the program, the National Peace Jubilee Association, Boston, 1869, and it's great to have this or one like it in my collection, at least. Here are some photographs from the collection of the actual event, empty and full. And again, imagine the innovation of these people from the 19th century putting this place together, 500 feet long, 300 feet wide, and 120 feet high. And 3 years later, the World Peace Jubilee would be projected by Gilmore as celebrating the end of the Franco Prussian War in Europe, the First World War, according to them, between France and Germany. Here we got 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and other days. And basically, this event went on over 18 official days and a further 3 or 4 on top of that. And here are some of the composers at the very on this medal here. It was actually a token. You could buy it with or without the flag attached. And one side were all the composers remembered, on the other side were all the countries represented. World Peace Jubilee Press Headquarters. This is a letter, an envelope from the actual World Peace Jubilee itself. This was a huge event. I mean, it was so ridiculous. The National Peace Jubilee had been bigger than the then Woodstock would be 100 years later. The World Peace Jubilee, however, was very close to the same size as Band-Aid. And that's ridiculous when you think of the technology that they did not have, but they had the imagination. And of course, they had also Herr Johann Strauss from Vienna with his complete orchestra, invited by Gilmore, and it was the only time that Strauss ever came to America was at Gilmore's invitation. This was the handbook used by everyone that was involved in the event, and it details all of the details of that wonderful event in absolute detail. And here is the inside of it. And the very back wall, you see the massive organ, which was powered by 2 huge compressors on the rostrum, and there in the front you see the director. I'm not sure who it is. It would be foolish if I said it was Gilmore. Could be anyone. Here's another view of the same. And this one here is obviously soprano. Who is it? It could be Madame Euphrosyne Rosa, who was Carlo Rosa's wife. She was actually Glaswegian. Very Glaswegian name. And here is Gilmore, the third event, 1878 European Tour of Europe. This was the first time anyone had brought a band to Europe to acclaim how good or how bad was America compared to the European countries. The American newspapers said, "You're mad, Gilmore, you're mad. Bringing coals to Newcastle is suicidal." And he didn't mind. He planned very carefully. And they toured 150 events in half a dozen countries nearly. They even had cases like this made for the musicians. They played throughout Britain, Ireland, Holland, Belgium, France, and Germany to wonderful acclaim. And they were called the world's greatest band. The Germans said, "For the last 200 years, we thought we were basically wonderful. And now we realize that we have just heard the world's greatest band." And that was basically, I'm paraphrasing, what Herr Heinrich Sarro said, who was the musical director for the Kaiser at the time. Exhibition Palace in Dublin. This day, Gilmore's Great American Band. And all the excitement of this. And it was no different in Crystal Palace in London, or here in St. George's Hall in Liverpool, which was given free of charge by the then City Council of Liverpool. And again, Gilmore's band was acclaimed as the greatest band that they had ever heard. And of course, in 1878, on that same tour, he had to play in the Exposition Universelle de Paris and represent America. There were huge problems in regards missing money, missing funds, and so on and so forth, and the agent had run off with the money. That did not affect Gilmore one iota. He kept playing, and he had his musicians, all of them bar one, behind him, and he represented America at their stand at the 1878 exposition. And the sum total of all of that was Gilmore developed, after that, a roster of Gilmore's 100 band. As a concert tour by a band of 100 first-class musicians has never been attempted in any country, he was going to try it. Here's Gilmore's final lithograph from St. Louis when he passed away. And at this stage, Gilmore's band itself was known as the world's greatest band, a title that would not be taken by anyone, irregardless of what happened there afterwards. I would like to thank everyone for listening to this. Please get in contact with me if you have any questions or any criticisms or whatever it is, or any new information. gilmoresband@gmail.com. I'll be back with more, don't know when, but it'll be probably after May at the earliest. So, I will see you on my Facebook page. Thank you very much. Click like and subscribe. And thank you for listening to me over the last 85 documentaries. So, from Ireland, bye.